Welcome to episode 77. I'm here with Dylan. It's been a while since we met.
It has been a while. It's been about a year and a half. Some rooftop vibes, getting our dance on.
Yeah, for sure. Can you let the audience and listeners know a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. My name is Dylan. I'm based out of Toronto, and I love life, and I surround myself with people who do as well, who love enjoying the simple things, sunsets, walks by the water, music, good food, games, board games, laughter. Um, I'm a proud uncle of two. My niece, my nephew bring a lot of joy in my life. And life has been interesting to say the least, bringing me on many
Oh,
different
wow.
journeys of health and healing. Um, but I'm very excited to be where I am now and continue to connect with people like you,
For,
honestly. So grateful that we got to meet.
for sure, for sure. Let's take a bit of a detour and let's take a dive through memory lane. Tell us a little bit about growing up, how life was for you.
Mhm. Um, I enjoyed my childhood. I moved a lot. So between being born in high school, I think I moved maybe 16 times, other
Wow.
different schools. Um, and it was interesting because I really enjoyed some of the schools. And by the time I started to get settled in, we moved. But uh, every experience still led to another beautiful experience. I grew up with my mom and my sister in our household. And that was a joy to be around female energy. Um, but I almost felt like the only child because I wanted to do things that no one wanted to do with. So I played a lot of games by myself. Uh, checkers, it'd be like right hand versus left hand. Let's see
Oh,
who could win a battle of checkers. Just random stuff. And then I learned solitaire, and that felt a bit more sane. But I really enjoyed my childhood living in Richmond Hill for a large portion of it. Winter Wonderland was fun, and yeah, I lived in that cool community housing, which I know I realize now. But growing up with a bunch of kids who most of the parents weren't home because they were working. We kind of raised each other, playing manhunt,
mm,
sharing food, and playing video games in different people's houses. It's kind of like a free for all in these
yeah,
for a while. It was fun.
yeah. That's interesting. Tell me more about that. Like, how was that experience?
So I'm close with a lot of people now. Um, then our school wasn't really diverse.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, sorry, let me rephrase that. My school didn't have a lot of people that looked like, but
Oh,
my community.
okay.
So I felt comfortable. I felt seen. I felt connected to people when I got home. We lived in a co-op, which was like this round, it was shaped like a giant zero. So you kind of ride in circles on your bike. There was a community center, and that was our hub. So I really enjoyed connecting through, doing the Harlem Shake, to Bow Wow songs and like playing basketball or like Nintendo 64 with people who, their houses resembled mine. The
Mhm.
smells, the furniture, things just resembled each other's houses. It felt really cool.
So the community center was like a communal space for you guys.
Yeah, summertime for sure. We're not in school. They had programming, so I learned how to play um, card games like Uno,
Yeah.
Crazy Eight Countdown, Signal. We played a lot of that in the community center. We would bake, and people would make chicken nuggets and random stuff and play. In the park, people lit the slide on fire one year, and I put the fire out with
Oh,
sand, and I was like, did I just find my calling? Am I going to be a firefighter? This is incredible.
yeah.
I didn't end up going into firefighting, but I definitely felt uh, my calling as a leader to
Yeah.
stop the fire.
What was like times being alone and that solitude? Like, was that difficult at first? Like having a sibling, but not really. being able to play or do stuff what you like because they didn't like that?
There was frustration, but I'm actually so grateful for it now. Those moments alone really formed my true identity because I'm just sitting with myself.
Mm.
And I spent a lot of time, funny enough, looking in the mirror in my room and having conversations with myself.
Oh,
And I think were some of the most profound moments, like declarations and really like um, almost like affirmations to
yeah.
myself.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. Like it was not something that was encouraged by anybody else. I
Oh,
think,
not at that time.
no, naturally, my sisters were ones to like write in their diaries, to journal and to reflect. I didn't do that. For me, it was those moments in the mirror or moments to like really be with my imagination. I was a big Toy Story. So I had my Buzz Lightyear, I had my Woody, I had all my Mr. Potato Head, and I would also live in that world of, yeah, they're real. I know they can talk, but I leave. Um, and without influence of anyone else telling me differently, I felt incredible just to be by myself, to dream and to ideate and to affirm myself. Um, actually, a lot of those things I'm starting to do now this year, in the last recent years, and I'm getting back into my true self, what feels to be like my true self.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like most people don't do that because they're scared shitless. Like just being with their thoughts and just being alone and having to deal with the inner self.
Yeah. It is a scary place at times. I won't lie and say that I haven't had bouts of depression or anxiety, confusion, um, and just being isolated helped me through the process because I got to process through it. But it's not always sunshine and rainbows and Toy Story action figures, but
Yeah,
definitely as scary as it is, I see it as a necessity sometimes. Um,
yeah,
because you know what we're going through. You understand
yeah.
yourself the most.
As much as like the meditation and listening to music and trying to distract yourself, you're actually just distracting yourself from because you don't want those thoughts to pop in or you're scared to face them. So it's really great that you were able to do that for first when
Yeah,
you were
because
growing up.
I think things start to reemerge if we don't address it.
Yeah.
So I would see patterns. I used to be a child who would cry angry. Anytime someone agitated me, I would get angry and I'd cry. I didn't know how to process through emotion. My sister could call me a crybaby, and that would make me cry and get
Yeah.
frustrated. I'm not a crybaby, and start crying in that moment. Um, so as that continued to happen, I was like, how do I get around this? How do I not absorb it in the same ways? How do I let it bounce off of me? So those are the moments that I took by myself to like get ahead of falling into the same patterns over and over again.
Yeah, for
Tormented by my
sure.
older sisters.
And then so like after like how was like high school and what do you do right now? Can you tell a little bit of how you got there and what do you do now?
Yeah. Um, Last week, Friday, my high school had a 20-year anniversary gathering.
Oh, congrats.
So yeah, 20 years since the school had opened. So they invited everyone who has graduated
That's a big
back.
milestone.
Absolutely. So going back, it was so interesting because I'm connecting with teachers who are still there in the same place, making the impact that they do. And I'm in marketing, and I'm overseeing marketing for a beverage brand right now in Canada. Um, along with other things as an entrepreneur as well. I'm starting uh, a wellness brand, clothing brand that gives back to the community and helps support habits for also people who look like me. And I've developed an app um, that also helps brands and people achieve their goals. through just connecting and community. So, um, high school, I felt very average,
Mm,
I didn't feel like um, I stood out in any way, and I didn't. I mean, in some people's eyes, I'm sure I did. I don't think I wanted to, but I
mm,
didn't. It was obvious, especially having a sister who was an overachiever. It was like she was doing cheerleading captain, she was doing the morning announcements, the main stage play. It was just like an onslaught of, you know, being involved for her. And I was kind of just like, I don't think my time is here. I feel like I'm a late bloomer, and I'm actually very grateful for it because when I wasn't doing, I was receiving, I was learning, I was taking notes. And I think it matters the most now as an adult leaving high school to implement everything that I saw um, and observed over the years. So high school was fun. I loved drama class. I loved cooking. I
yeah, drama
loved,
class. It's always the best.
yeah, drama was honestly shaped my high school experience. So I enjoyed high school. I did not make the most of it, not until I left and went to under college that I really like step into my independence and like leadership and getting involved
Same,
in
same,
sports and stuff
same.
like that. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
you
at
as
least
well.
that leadership aspect, yeah,
Mm.
after high school.
Yeah. Was it something switched for you? Was it like, okay, now it's time?
Yeah, I think getting out of my shell at like processing everything because I was still learning and trying to know myself better, and then I guess just push past some of those limits, and I guess yeah, college, what it did to me and what it did to you sounds like.
Yeah. It's a beautiful time to like break out of that shell a little bit, feel a bit more like honest to yourself. Wow, this feels to express,
Yeah,
to connect. Yeah, it's a
how was that
shine.
experience in transition from high school to college for you?
I think it was powerful. I had an encounter with someone I consider to be a guardian angel now. It was a random stranger that approached me and challenged me to step out of my shell by the time I graduated. And we made a pact, and I think he promised that we would both do our best to be the best or biggest version of ourselves and not shrink ourselves. And it took a lot out of me because I was a very introverted person. And I realized the other side of that experience is going to push me in places and rooms and conversations I've never been a part of. And I ended up being what they would call the vice president of the campus, which then had to host events and be on stage and
Mm,
interview people, hold a microphone in front of 2,000 people. So
oh,
going from high school to like never, being in high school, never really on stage or putting my hand up in class, to then going to university, um, facilitating crowds and getting people engaged
wow.
was a huge shift. It took a big mental game to really change my perspective on myself. So wild. But I did it. It can't be undone.
Yeah. How was that like the evolution of from an introverted to an introverted slash extroverted person?
Um, I still
What
felt like
shifted for you?
I felt like I created an alter ego.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't that I changed. I created a character that would come out in certain moments in time, and then I would go back into Dylan, the boy in his
Ah, like
room,
the
chilling.
Superman analogy.
Exactly, exactly. So different values, different interests, different objectives, um, same physical body. But I remember when I would step off of stage, I would go back into myself. What just happened? I almost forgot what just happened on stage. I'm like so far removed as Dylan, but as this alter ego I created. Um, it helps me step into versions of myself that I didn't know existed. So it was fun to play that game with myself. it definitely pushed me. I would say yes to things that I'm like, did I just say yes to interview Terry Crews? Like, did I just did I just say yes to X, Y, and Z? Um, and then it would happen, and these things would, and then I would still not believe it after it's done. Not the first time where it became real was when I invited my dad to come see me interview someone on stage. It was a crowd. It was like five or 600 people in the audience. My dad was one of them. And to see that person who's known me since I was a child, an infant, seeing me and just like,
What was that?
who is this guy? And then it clicked to me. That's when the moment where I was like, oh, yeah, so I haven't had a moment where someone who's known me from my past is experiencing me now. And then I snapped out of it. I was like, oh my goodness gracious. Yes, I know what he's feeling. I was blocking it off for so long. Now I'm like, very different.
So that's when you and your alter ego clicked? I was like, oh,
Yes.
this is me.
Yeah. That's when they were both on the stage at the same time. And I was like, holy shit. Um, because as my dad is looking at me, I'm perceiving myself as the younger version of myself.
Yeah.
When I'm in the audience or talking to the audience when my dad's not there, I'm this alter ego. When I see my dad, I'm like, whoa, what the heck am I doing up here? It is wild. It was powerful.
And what got you into like the marketing aspect and giving back to the community?
I think marketing for me is an opportunity to flex my imagination. It brings me in spaces that are very different from week to week. Um, I think it's fun, it's engaging, and I saw an opportunity. And what I do professionally is a direct reflection of um, like me problem solving and me loving to problem solve and to do puzzles, to do those crosswords and Rubik's cubes, which I should have one right here. I like solving things. So I see problems, some larger problems, some are, just brands being brands, wanting to be the top brand, but it allows me to think big. And that's so important for me. Um, to be surrounded by people who also think big, who
Yeah.
got more out of life and want to push the boundaries of what typically experienced. So marketing has been fun. Building my own brand, building my own community is often a reflection of what I feel like I'm in need of. So most things that I create are things that I wish existed. And because of that, I get to benefit from those things.
Yeah.
And I resonate and I connect with people who also want or need the things that I've now created. So it's a beautiful little harmony, but nothing I do is without purpose. Um, everything feels true to me. Most of it doesn't feel like work.
Mm.
I'm fortunate enough to employ and network with people that I actually like as humans.
Yeah.
Um, more than anything, like everyone I work with, no matter what company or business I'm running, I would invite them to my birthday. I would invite them to wedding in the future. I would want them there at these things. And that feels great to me. Um, to know that I'm in the right place. If I can look around me and say, you guys are all people and you make me better. So it's been a cool journey since leaving, my college experience
Yeah.
and just exploring what it means to like feel connected to people and to a cause.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you for your stories and being here. What would you say being limitless means to you?
Ooh, being limitless to me, I feel like it means listening to or finding that balance between head and heart and really uh, taking taking action feels so freeing. It feels dangerous. It feels exciting. I think that feeling and being limitless is a harmonious place that not everyone will resonate with, but I definitely love the thought, the idea of being limitless, and I plan to live that life. Uh,
Yeah.
so I thank you for encouraging that.
What would you say, like, in your own, like, example of that would be for you?
First thing that comes to my mind is how I feel when I ride my motorcycle
Mm.
without any direction. Like I don't have a destination. Sometimes I will just follow the moon. Sometimes I will turn when the wind blows. It just feels so freeing. I shouldn't do it, but I have my earpods in and I'm riding. And I'm listening to some Afro beats or I'm listening to some R&B at like 2 or 3 in the morning and the highway's clear and I'm just swaying, feeling amazing. And I truly feel powerful again, being in my thoughts, being in my body, feeling excited to be me and not wanting more and more, just be happy with where I am and what I'm doing and enjoying the simple things I'm chasing the moment.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for your time and being here. Where can our listeners and audience find more about you and if they want to know more about your journey?
Yeah, I think I want to encourage people to actually uh, follow my Health Human Instagram account. And that's where my heart is, that's where the impact will be. So that Instagram page is what I would suggest. It's healthy.human on Instagram, and human is spelled HUMXM. And that's where they're going to find the true essence of me and what matters to me the most in life.
Wicked, wicked. Thank you so much, Dylan.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. So grateful. Let me have this conversation.